10. Dire team pick.
Everybody get up,
10.
it's time to slam now. We got the real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam. Here's your chance, do your dance at the Space Jam.
10. 5. Radiant team. Dire team. 10. 5. 10.
Welcome everybody to Game 2 of your best of 3. See who is number 3 and number 4th place in the Absolute Bedlam tournament for Dota 2. I am Scooter Skittles, your happy host, here watching FAP-ATK versus We Chuan Now. We Chuan Now is here on the Dire, FAP-ATK is the Radiant. This is a replay sent to me by the team captain of We Chuan Now. Thank you very much, Nyan Pudge, for this. I have not yet seen this game, and we're going to commentate it live, as far as I'm concerned, live, here right now, today. Thanks for picking Nakes, jerks. If you didn't see last game, what's wrong with you? It's right below this one on the Twitch TV feed. Nakes was picked by Nyan Pudge for the We Chuan Now team, and he went, what was it, 8-1? So a very strong game coming out of him with the Nakes. Decent carry, but it ended so quickly we weren't even really able to see Nakes be a nasty carry. It was just a lot of team fights that were very well orchestrated by We Chuan Now, and FAP-ATK fell under the slows that really screwed over Ursa and Meepo. And they picked Meepo, and I really wanted to root for him for that very reason alone, especially since someone named Yolo Swaggins picked Meepo. Since that's awesome too, so it's a double combination of awesomeness. But they lost, and I'm sad. So here we get to go. Round 2. Going on FAP-ATK on Radiant, we've got Arratem on Pudge. He's going mid. Carta's got the Nakes. He's going to show how you really play Nakes. Yolo Swaggins got the Warlock supporting in a tri-lane, it looks like.
30 seconds
with
to go.
The name's moving so fast. Chakal on the Lich. Tri-laning bot. Meanwhile, top, Kuro-pi has the Windrunner this time. The guy playing Lich, Chakal, was playing Windrunner last game, and we saw a few really decent shackles coming out of him, but didn't shackle or level shackle shot first, and so they didn't actually end up lasting as long in the early game, even though that might have made a difference when she rotated top. But that was last game, and that's old news. Meanwhile, on the Dire side, we got Hush on Bane. We've got Nyan Pudge playing the carry again. Void. Lena's being played by Primemuffin. Caketown's on Gyrocopter. And lastly, on that solo bottom lane is Mark II on Darkseer. Same role he was playing last time, same hero he was playing last time, same beard he was playing last time. Sneaky Illusion Rune Primemuffin just maybe laying some wards down. No, she doesn't have any with her. Seeing any opportunity, I suppose. Here we go, going around behind, going to pick on Kuro-pi. Just what they need to make this a very offensive tri-lane, as they've set it up for. Make as much room as they can for Faceless Void to farm, farm, farm. She backs off without taking much damage. Several wards coming out of the top lane to stop them from jungling. That's good. And to scout, which is a little questionable because it's just a Windrunner. She's already kind of in a lot of trouble because she is up against a tri-lane. Maybe she was thinking she was going to be up against a solo lane, and that's what's going on. Don't know, but she's not going to be able to get too much done. Went wind run first to probably protect her from a lot of damage. Might have gone power shot instead to try to get those desperate farm opportunities, but I don't know. It's not really good for her either way. So we might not be able to see too much awesomeness coming out of Windrunner early on. Let's look at something else. Arratem and Caketown duking it out here. Caketown electing to go for a I'm farming you jerk, and I'm going to pick on you a little bit too build. And it's certainly working. If he can keep Arratem down enough, it'll be able to say no to his ability to initiate, hook and rot. And even with a good hook opportunity, Arratem wouldn't even go for it. As long as he'd be able to keep up that flak cannon, I imagine Caketown might be able to pull that off. Arratem is not exactly built for a ton of regen, but he's certainly got plenty of hit points from these gauntlets. Meanwhile, we've got Mark II being scouted out as he hides in the jungle. Chakal saw him. There he is. Get him, get him, get him. He surges his way out. Isn't able to be blocked by Lich. Slowed at the end of that. Any more slow from Nakes? Any more anything from anybody? Lich doesn't have the levels for a nuke, and they really could use a nuke right now. Kind of limping over each other, getting each other's ways. Holy moly, I didn't know we had this courier yet. I don't care about the action in the rest of the game. I'm watching this guy for a little bit. Oh, I love that backpack. Looks like something out of DayZ. Except, of course, it's a little more fantasy-oriented. But still, it's got the pockets. You could probably fit an AK-74 in there. Okay, mid lane.
First blood, folks.
Ah, Shazbot.
First blood. Oh.
All right, this is something we didn't too.
First time for everything.
We kind of expected first blood happening on a Windrunner who's desperate for a little gold and experience. Hush getting beat up by the tower, but I apologize for missing that. Just would happen. Pause coming out of this team. We could actually rewind this, and I kind of do, because this is a tower dive kill, first blood, which is always exciting. And then that's it. Okay, here we go. Creep's getting attacked by the tower. Hush moves in. Nightmares. This is the setup. We're going to see a stun out of Lena. Well timed. All the nukes in the world, but she's running away. They're going to need one more something. Slowed down a little bit by Void. It's just enough, and Bane gets it. Don't blame him for not giving it to Void. She was faster than Nyan Pudge. It was close enough. They needed that range hit. Alright, wonderful. And we're going to skip a little bit of this pause. Maybe a little bit more of this pause. I wish I could fast forward without actually seeing the current time. He's reconnected. Probably going to unpause here soon. I see that Darkseer's really beat up. But he's off and away. So he'll actually be okay. Let's analyze the tri-lane going on here. Support Warlock. Supporting the Nakes. Nakes versus Void. I can't see that turning out so well for Lifestealer later on. Oh man, massive pause coming out of these guys. Fast forward, fast forward, fast forward. Hey, now you guys are happy it's a replay, right? Oh, monkeys! Oh, I panicked. I'm clicking everywhere. Alright, sorry. I'm new to this. And look, Mark II isn't back yet, so we didn't miss much at all. We got something flying out. Magic wand to Caketown. Missed hook. That's a lot of damage now. You're probably gonna... I don't know, even if you'd gotten him. He's got as many hit points as you. And guess what? He can do mean things as well. He waits for that last creep to die, and then he runs in with that. Ends up taking some tower hits. Kind of an awkward trade. He does take a lot of damage. Kuro-pi, want to be careful about those creeps coming into range of the tower. You've probably learned your lesson. Let's see. Great thing about tri-lane versus Darkseer is, for Darkseer at least, spam those ion shells and get farm no matter what. Sadly, they're doing a very good job of sacrificing creeps and denying creeps, and he's only got one last hit. Meanwhile, how much you want to bet they're going to be filled over here with denies. 3 denies on Lich. 1 out of him.
Radiant's bottom tower ain't a pretty sight.
5 out
right
of
now.
Nakes. Yeah, okay, they've gotten their denies. But what else can he do? He's going to keep spending those ion shells until he gets a little bit more farm. Get some more ion shell, get some more vacuum. Surge away as needed. Yeah, you're not going to be able to expect too much more out of that, especially since they're the same level as you, buddy. You've been walking away from the lane way too much. You should be level 4 by now if you were in range of experience, and you're not. Like Nakes. Nakes is level 4. How does that make you feel? What's he farming up for? Probably going for an early hand of Midas. Gonna buy that kind of all at once. Yep, there's part of it. Just needs that glove. Meanwhile, top lane. More farm going the way of Nyan Pudge. 32 last hits. 33 last hits on the 5-minute mark. Congratulations, Nyan Pudge. You did make quota this year. This quarter. Meanwhile, sorry, I even heard the Pudge coming out.
Tower's coming apart.
Caketown hits him. With all his stuff, probably Rocket Barrage's cooldown is so low that he was able to solo him.
Radiant's mid tower could use a hand.
And Pudge, with the regen, last I checked, wasn't all that great. The consumables weren't all that great, so he probably hooked him when he was kind of low, maybe overextended, or maybe Caketown ran in there. Oh, I could have rewound. I'm gonna right now. Here we go. So this is what we're looking at. Some creeps in range of the tower. Yep, a wounded guy, no regen, but it's the Gyro who makes the attack. He runs in past the tower, gets ulted anyway, in a desperate move, dies.
Radiant's mid tower's getting banged up. Radiant's mid tower.
Alright, fast
could
forward a
use
little bit
hand.
just to catch us up to where we kind of should be. 0-2 in favor of We Chuan Now. Carta not quite making the same kind of quota as Void is. He's got the ion shells to deal with, but he's also got lots of damage, and he's got the quelling blade, so he should have an easy time. Lena disconnecting.
Someone's having technical
First pause that I know of to come out of Dire. Alright, after this pause, I'm going natural. I'm leaving this little screen, and we're going to watch it at regular speed rest of the time. Just as if it were real life. Oh, he's back. I can expect an unpause here any second now. Any second now. Oh, well, There we go. Allah forbid you have any... What?
Radiant's
Yolo
mid tower's
Swaggins quoting
getting
Mulan.
banged up. Haste.
Haste rune! Lich gets away. And is able to place all the wards he came here to place. Caketown, possibly noticing that, but it's nighttime. Wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't take note that they have wards down here. But at the same time, Dire has their own wards. To save Darkseer. Similar strategy to what we saw top lane with Windrunner placing her wards to try to protect her, even though the main thing she needed protection from was the people she already knew was there. Speeding away, using a lot of mana to keep herself alive. She's still got a whopping one last hit. I'm really sorry, Windrunner. Awkward little shot there. I guess the cameraman is interested in getting more Dota 2 chests. So, Caketown. Good night, everybody. Caketown getting his items in. Poor man's shield. Ring of protection. Turns that into a Aquila. Not Aquila. Maybe later. But what's it called? My gads. Basilius. Basilius. There's that early game healing coming out of FAP-ATK, kind of like last game. I wonder if there's a pattern to that, if it has something to do with, you know, their strategy, having Tree and Protector, be able to do the global early game heals, having Warlock do the more local but very effective heals, battle heals, in battle heals. Say that 5 times fast. I don't even like saying heals. Heals. It's not a fun word. Pudge able to free farm. Where did Gyrocopter go? He's top. Possibly helping in a gank, though ganking Windrunner is simply adding insult to injury. Look, now she looks normal. She's out, and they've lost a tower for sure. If they could quick take it out.
Radiant's top tower's hurting.
Seems to be attacking everyone but the creeps nearby. Because the creeps were focusing on other things, other creeps.
Radiant's top tower's in bad shape.
14 last hits with the Darkseer.
Dire's mid tower's having technical
His counterpart
difficulties.
top lane. He has 14 times the last hits, so I guess we have to chalk it up to Mark II and his play with Ion Shell to be able to get something out of bottom lane, even if he is still only level 4, which is the levels of the supports that he's facing up against. Ouch, Swaggins. A little too close, taking a little bit of extra damage than he probably wanted to. And no mana to heal up. Taking hits and not rushing in there to kill what you're kind of aiming for. But gank on Darkseer and he's gone. Not even a hook. Did that go to Warlock? Yeah, it did. Good job, Warlock. Now you can halfway afford those arcane boots, or your grandmother's new hip. As far as towers go, oh, very close hook. Not quite able to get him. That's a level 4 hook. Incredible range on that, and came out of nowhere. I'm willing to bet that We Chuan Now did not know that was coming. Kind of lucked out that both that creep was there and that your own hero was on his way back. Wasn't going to die from it very easily. Wasn't going to get caught. Oh, that's interesting. Heals in increments of 25 at second level. Okay, so it's probably per second. 25 per second, now 35. As we see a Frost Blast coming out of which against Mark II, but reinforcements are here. They probably don't see this Bane quite yet. Pudge successfully gets a hook combo against Gyrocopter. 2-2 on the kill board now. If they can start working out some proper ganks, we could see FAP-ATK definitely controlling the late game. I mean, a farmed Nyx versus a not as farmed a Void means a dead Void. Especially with the kind of stuns that FAP-ATK does have with Pudge, with Windrunner.
Radiant's top tower's hurting.
And technically, theoretically, a lot of stuff that can be used inside the Chronosphere. Hook into it, pull someone out, pull Void away, shackle him while he's inside there. Everything they can to just make Void not able to pull off everything he should be able to pull off. I'm really impressed with this Ion Shell. It's doing a lot for Darkseer, much more than it was doing earlier, and I imagine that's because it's now level 3, doing enough damage. Everyone kind of waiting for everyone else, hiding, sneaking around. Pudge, you're going to encounter him with Lich, who's getting the face blasted in. All the ults falling on to Pudge, who's able to take down Lina before he dies. The Carta trying to escape. He even infests, but it isn't able to get him some life. Yolo Swaggins got the rocket coming against him. He's not going to be able to escape from this either. Lots of deaths going on as everyone gets ganked, and Dire shows up. Everyone shows up for Dire and ganks the poop out of FAP-ATK bot. Lina sees some farm opportunity to push this. Hopefully take out the tower there.
There goes Radiant's bottom tower.
Yep, Radiant's bottom tower is now nothing but little pieces of tower. Fragments even.
Radiant's mid tower could use a hand.
Here comes a potential hook coming out of Arratem, but Lina landed a successful stun. It was enough to chase her off, so they were able to deny. Good enough news for We Chuan Now. They were able to take down 2 towers. That's their third. Shameful that it's a deny, but they're sitting pretty as far as towers go right now. And one thing I cannot see is FAP-ATK's pushing power able to compensate here in mid-game. Hook successful. He's going to ult him. Nyan Pudge held in place, but Nyan Pudge himself is now held in place with Hush, who they don't have a stun to use against him. And he actually gets ulted by Lina. A wonderful hook and a wonderful stun by Pudge, but it doesn't turn into anything as the rest of Dire's team shows up. Wonderful Chakal shot. Chronosphere. It's not going to be able to do too much because you now have to run away. Windrunner dies, escapes to the Nether Realm because she's dead. Nake's hoping to infest inside Lich, but he's not going to be able to get away. He stuns, dies, nukes, whatever. Team wipe, technically, coming out of We Chuan Now against FAP-ATK. Not what they needed right now. Although FAP-ATK, We Chuan Now, rather, is not in a best position to take more advantage of that. They're not set up to take Rosh. They buy something there. They're not set up to push. Warlock's going to say no to that anyway.
Regeneration.
But oh well, team wipe, so team wipe, right? see Pudge is hooked, set up to gank a lot. He's got that Urn of Shadows. Help him rotate around the map. Use it on a fleeing enemy or just on himself. Oh, I hear an ult coming out of Gyro. He's sending in all his stuff. Successful hook on Primemuffin. She gets eaten, added to his belly. Bane's not going to be able to get away from this. 2 dead on We Chuan Now's little setup. I guess they noticed Gyrocopter, who used his ult. Other people moved in, but Gyro wasn't actually sticking around. High health, but maybe that wasn't the plan. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication about whether we were fighting or not, and We Chuan Now overextends on a couple heroes and gets them killed.
Trouble brewing at Radiant's bottom tower.
Indeed. No one was watching as Mark II pushes the bottom tower. Wanders back as more of FAP-ATK's team is wandering off, missing. He wants to not die. And he also needs to be debating whether he's going to put more levels into Vacuum or Surge. I see he's kind of putting them into both. They notice Nyan Pudge, who time walks up onto a cliff, warps out of there.
In bad shape.
A lucky hook would have done it, but no good. They're still scouting for him. I think they've probably decided by now that he's escaped. Are they debating? Maybe hooking? Maybe? Meanwhile, mid, we've got different blasts. Sounded like it came out of Lena. Oh, hook coming out of Pudge. Did go for it. Nothing. Of course. He was long gone. Tricky plays coming out of Nyan Pudge Void. Good thing he's hanging on to a TP scroll like that so he can dodge in somewhere. If they line this up right, they can take that down before he hits Warlock. Oh, ow, my head, my head. '87 last hits with the Void. His counterpart on FAP-ATK's team, on FAP-ATK rather, 72. But at the same time, he's got a hand of Midas, so he's actually pretty close to meeting Void's farm. Lost a little bit of gold, no doubt, from his 2 deaths, but Lifestealer's still plugging away at those last hits. Void has 0 deaths, 0 kills. Definitely in a better position than Nakes, but how much better is up for debate.
Yeah, what you cannot see.
One of the things I have to say about FAP-ATK's lineup is that it's a lot more traditional than it was last game, as far as you can call, you know, Pudge and Windrunner traditional right now. But I tend to try to picture the current pro scenes picks to not be as applicable as a lot of people consider. Missed hook coming out of Pudge. Because it is the pro scene, and these are the people that can take full advantage of the heroes that maybe are the hardest to play, the ones that are the most skill-oriented, the most ridiculously high skill level heroes that maybe you don't see as much of, and you shouldn't see as much of on the more amateur scene. So the fact that they're picking Void, the fact that they're picking Pudge and Lich and Windrunner, even though those aren't the ones as traditionally seen in the pro scene, I don't mind at all. That's why I call FAP-ATK's lineup much more normal, much more standard. Especially compared to their last one, in which they picked Meepo, which even in the amateur scene, especially in the amateur scene, you don't see much of. And they did pick Ursa, which again is a kind of a questionable pick, because he's sort of countered easily with the right kind of stuff. Grabbing Primemuffin, again, Lena's going to die, but she escapes. They don't actually stun her at all, setting up a team fight for We Chuan Now as they get a Chronosphere off, catching 2, killing Pudge, killing Lich, killing Warlock, killing Windrunner, as Gyrocopter rushes in there with all his stuff. And it's practically a team wipe. Only Nakes escapes. And where was Nakes this whole time? Did he wander off at the start? Nonetheless, surviving Warlock buying back to help defend. They're going to lose possibly a tower, but they're not actually set up too well to attack the tower. They didn't have the creeps right there, so there's going to be a little bit of delay as everyone comes back from FAP-ATK, coming back from the afterlife, and a fortification. Yeah, this tower ain't going down. Here they come. First Yolo Swaggins with the Warlock, Lich 2. They wander off. Nyan Pudge, I've not died this entire game. I'm not going to die today. And I've not died either myself, the commentator. But then, I don't think I can die too much. I think the commentator dies in, what is that play? Never mind. And that's a narrator, not a commentator. Or am I narrating? Looking again at the farm. Armlet and Hand of Midas. He's going to be pretty scary late game. Of course, Hand of Midas on Faceless Void as well. Heck, that does kind of indicate just how much more farm Faceless Void has. If they both are running Hand of Midas, and he's got a little bit more last hits, I was kind of weighing that Nakes, he had the Hand of Midas, so it kind of helped him catch up, and the last hits don't necessarily indicate his exact level of farm, but now I'm thinking with the 2 deaths on Nakes, no deaths on Nyan Pudge, both have Hands of Midases.
Haste!
Faceless Void is looking a lot better. And that Chronosphere was beautiful, the initiation was beautiful, and the fact that Primemuffin on Lena only died toward the end of that last team fight is kind of indicative of maybe a little bit of either misclicking or just assuming that the members of your team are playing maybe a little different roles than you thought they were going into that initiation. Because that was a wonderful hook from Pudge, but it just didn't set up. Shackle Shot coming in, they're going to kill Mark II. Ult's coming in all over Lifestealer. He's held in place, but he also had his rage going on for a while. He's taken all these hits in the middle of the stun, so he's not able to lifesteal it up. Laguna Blade slashes through, finally fishes him off. Before the rest of the team comes in another hook, Primemuffin just loves catching those hooks, sitting under Rot, dies, while Nyan Pudge just bashes in the Yolo Swaggins face in, while the Battle Fury does damage to Pudge, able to walk up to and finish off Pudge. Double team wipe. Well, no, not double team wipe, but one survivor on each team. The victor, of course, being the one with the carry that survived, which was We Chuan Now. Lich being the only survivor on FAP-ATK. Not as much of the kind of person you want to be the survivor. Again, pushing that lead into We Chuan Now's favor. Let's look at the XP graph. Yeah, you can kind of see that. Early game, We Chuan Now shifted into the team fight mode and wasn't able to farm as effectively, even though they were kind of winning the team fights, and only until they started hitting those team wipes. And now with this one, does it really go into their favor? XP with the towers down, I would imagine, and with the team fights, it's probably been going in their favor the whole time. Oh, that was XP. Oh, okay. Well, more of the same. Buttons, I can push them. Team movement entirely coming out of FAP-ATK. I'm not seeing any considerable team consumables like well, smoke, I was thinking, really. So I guess they're just hoping for more of the same. Set up well with the right hook. Keep getting Nakes farmed. Keep having those supports do their thing. Haven't seen any amazing ults out of Lich yet. They're kind of set up to take advantage of a badly placed Void ult. If that Chronosphere catches some of their team members, but some of them not. And especially if it catches some of We Chuan Now. Oh, Chakal! Placing some wards and just gets ripped to shreds. He's using his ult, but it gets counter-ulted by Bane. He's held in place while Caketown sets up his stuff. Laguna Blade finishes them off. Ouch, that Bane counter-ult. It's as if he was waiting for it. Nakes isn't going to have it. He's taking revenge on Hush, who gets nightmared himself. Nakes maybe wants to wait till it wears off. Yep, he's coming in against him again. He's going to be able to escape because the Chronosphere gets set up. Good Chronosphere, catches a couple of them, and the Warlock. Ult. And Nyan Pudge is able to kill 2 people before it wears off. Yolo Swaggins, run your little heart out. And whatever hearts you've stolen from the corpses you've made. He's not going to be able to make it. That rocket's going to be able to finish him off, and he's wandering back into We Chuan Now's territory. He's just sacrificing himself right now, delaying the inevitable. Let me make it to your base, he pleads. It doesn't work, though, as the rocket impacts and Gyrocopter gets the kill. And one of the worst jokes I've heard in Dota 2.
Do something about that bottom tower.
As Warlock insists that he's going to be unfiending the person he kills. That's pretty much a Facebook reference right there, and I don't know how I feel about that. I feel wrong inside. But then there's enough horrible puns in Dota 2, you just kind of have to live with it, don't you? More horrible, guilty, awful slurs coming out of the teams as they banter back and forth, using language unspeakable on a American elementary school. I'm kidding. Or am I? Going back to the farm game, it hasn't been working. They keep getting edged into these team fights. One team will initiate. Doesn't seem to matter who, because the big guns come in just slightly after the team fight starts. And it's been ending in We Chuan Now's favor for the most part.
Radiant's top tower,
especially now with the Chronosphere. And in the meantime, as it goes to the farming game, We Chuan Now's winning that as well, as Nyan Pudge continues to seemingly get more last hits. Let's look at the overall gold net worth.
Right now.
Yeah, the huge lead coming out of the perspective carries. 5,500 gold lead coming, showing itself on Faceless Void over that Lifestealer, kind of edging into a possible team fight here soon, as they're spotted out here in the mid lane. Nyan Pudge always seeming to farm nearby so he can rush into things after that team fight starts. Successful hook, ult, there it is. Mark II's probably going to be dead here. No one near enough. Primemuffin wondered about it, had the stun, but needed a lot more distance. Probably was going to use the Yolo Scepter, but never was in range for that either, or decided against it. I mean, it's just Darkseer. So many enemies around him. Best bets to fall back, and that's exactly what We Chuan Now does. Next item coming onto Lifestealer, I want to bet it's going to be... Could be a couple things. He's saving his buddy. Scooter. Looking at some of the builds coming out of these other guys. Shadow Blade on Gyrocopter. Yule Scepter, as we saw on her earlier.
Stopped cold.
Haven't seen it used yet. There it is. There it is. Setting up for an ult from Gyro on Warlock. He almost places his ult, just gets it out before he dies. Chronosphere catching 3 of the enemy team. Chain Frost bouncing around a lot of creeps as Nyan Pudge mops them up, smashing their faces or whatever they have left. And it's a team wipe for We Chuan Now. I don't know if that wall did much, but everything else certainly did. GG game. GG game. Nyan Pudge, that's it. Are they seriously done? I mean, that's a Rax for him, probably. Yolo Swaggins insists that he can have his half-sister. She is alright. A lot of respect coming back and forth between these two teams. But if that counts, and it sounds like it does count, that is GG in favor of We Chuan Now, who takes the 3rd place in the Bedlam, Absolute Bedlam Dota Tournament, Amateur. A respectable position for sure. I'm sure they would have liked 1st or even 2nd, but they had a lot of good games out of both these teams, really.
Taking some punishment. The Dire best do something about that bottom tower.
Yolo Swaggins saying, I will promise I will listen to what my team says during drafting. Next time, Swaggins. Next time. Only Windrunner is disconnected so far, so we've got a little bit of inter-base fighting going on. I was going to say raping, because that's pretty much what it was, but FAP-ATK was going into it themselves. They didn't need to come out. They didn't need to fight it, so I guess it's a fight. It's honest to goodness. End the game with some good old fountain camps. Boy, this is a very unconventional kind of a personality coming out of FAP-ATK. Kind of laid back, given their picks the first game. I would say they've treated these last couple games very laid back in a way. And again, why not? It's 3rd and 4th place. You've lost the tournament. You might as well have fun with a fun team to play with.
Radiant's mid tower's coming apart. Have fun trying to bust down Radiant structures now. Radiant's top towers.
But I believe this concludes the Absolute Bedlam tournaments. Oh, we gotta see this. Oh, didn't quite get the Chronosphere out, but the Bane ult again, screwing over Pudge and making him a sad, sad pile of meat. Always, always. That must have been so frustrating. I mean, their ults are so similar in so many ways. Probably very insulting to put all that work into an awesome hook. Well-timed ult, able to counter the attempted Chrome Sphere, and then just Fiend Script. Just like, screw you, I know what you're doing and I'm going to stop it. Now that I think of it, I kind of wish that Bane had stood there and not Fiend Script, just watched Void died, just treated him like a,
trouble brewing at Radiant's bottom tower.
You know, thumb to the nose. Laguna Blade for the kill steal. The only sad thing I dislike about fountain farming and whatnot is just the fact that it ends up making the kill board a little bit skewed, so that you don't necessarily entirely appreciate the skill of the early and mid and late game. You know, the actual game.
Looks like Radiant's Ancient is getting stopped.
But a wonderful game all around. Interesting to see Windrunner trying to compensate for what she had going on top. Interesting to see Darkseer successfully compensate for what they had going on bottom with that half-aggressive, half-offensive tri-lane. And that's it for the Radiant. They're toast. Dire wins this time. 2 successful games in a row for We Chuan Now. That's the they went 2-0 for this best out of 3. Yolo Swaggins on the Warlock.
My thanks.
Kind of ended up dying pretty quickly, but got his ult off several team fights. Lifestealer 0 and 6, never able to farm up, at least compared to Faceless Void. Lich 2 and 5, Windrunner 3 and 7. Hard early game, but she made up for it, getting some kills. And there it disappears again. I should have paused. Well, thank you so much for watching. This is Scooter Skittles, hosting and playing and talking about your Dota games here in the Absolute Bedlam tournament. I was able to talk through 3 games now, and I've had a blast. I hope you did too. Catch you on